I do not like this painting, Charlie. Smug aura mocks me. It's evil, Charlie.
I truly believe this is the first time that Uchida wrote 2 good episodes back to back. It's kinda funny that the show, when it's really good, it's an Hasagawa written episode, or an Akito Inoue written episode, or just a Taguchi directed episode. It's almost like Uchida is kind of like the weak link here. I'm just saying, bruv. So we actually got the explanation to why Sabimaru and his brother are just so distant to each other, and also Sabimaru's brother is really mean to him. So remember when I theorized that Sabimaru decided to leave the research facility because they decided to create new chemis? And no, I was actually incorrect, which kind of led us to the big revelation of the episode, and that is Sabio and his brother created the Kamadon chemi, which, if you think about it, yeah, like did make sense, because we did get the reveal that Sabio drew Kamadon last episode, but it's like, I thought that, oh, maybe they just took the design and used it to create a new chemi, but like, no, he and his brother created the chemi together, which the brother didn't know. So when they created it, when it started to come to life after Sabio pretty much spilled a lot of alchemy juices to the drawing, Sabio's brother pretty much freaked out and just said to like Sabio was like, hey, yeah, let's not speak about it ever again. And he straight up left. He pretty much ditched his brother to, in the end, steal their job, saying that he did it like alone, and pretty much be like kind of like an asshole to him, because after that they just stopped talking, and Sabio as a kid got relentlessly bullied, and he had pretty much no one to really help him, in exception to like Isaac that his brother made and gave to him. But it's like so weird. But also, here's the thing, it's very much like a kid that grew up in the association, it seems. So it's very much kind of like a kid growing up in a really bad environment, because it seems like the association was still in effect, at least on the laboratory, before they left, before they kind of detached from it. So it probably is around the time where the association kind of had the rules of restricting people to create new chemis. So it's pretty much like the association kind of gaslit Sabio's brother to pretty much like, hey, that's bad. So like in an instant, how much it's a kid that, you know, created an AI just like nothing, he still falls on the instinct of like, oh no, I did something bad, I will get beat up. So he pretty much like, let's not talk about this again. And like when he meant that, it's like, let's not talk ever, pretty much. And he left a kid that, come on, Sabio is probably on the spectrum, so it's like a defenseless fucking kid, like without any like social help. He left them alone. So it's like, I get it, I feel bad for Sabio's brother, because I really feel that growing up in the association is growing up in a very bad environment, which, gosh, like Sabio being Sabio now is weird, because it really feels like, oh, Sabio could have gotten more fucked, and he could have gotten genuinely like social problems. Maybe his connection to Renge, because it seems like they're really close. Maybe she was kind of like an older sister to him when he really needs it, when he moved from the research laboratory to the academy, which is really interesting and like kind of shows how much Renge is a good person. Like we had an episode all about her, how much she wanted to protect the village that she lives in. We can now see her as a person that really wanted and helped successfully to bring like Sabio in to be way more comfortable like in a social environment. But also I kind of did feel bad for like Sabio's brother, because he gaslighted himself so bad because of the association. So it's like, oh my god, I did something bad. We did something bad. I don't know if it's truly was like, oh my god, Sabio is the one who created it. I'm just going to steal it. I truly believe like we did something bad. I need to take full responsibility. Like it was very much told to us that the brother didn't know that he also created the Kemi with him. But I am kind of interested because we never really fully got the full reason why Sabio's brother just decided to take the project onto himself. It probably is like he wanted to protect his brother for a very obvious reason. Like, it doesn't seem that his brother is a bad person, but the problem is he had all the right intentions in the world. He just like didn't know how to do it correctly. So he said to his brother, let's not talk about it ever again, not talk about it, never speak to him, pretty much slowly kind of like distant himself from his younger brother, pretty much not talking to him ever again, and buried himself in work, not only on the Kemi but also on Isaac, which led him to be more and more frustrated and more angry. And when his brother just resurfaced, he's getting like, fuck you, I don't give a shit about you, which is interesting for a character, because here's the thing, like, I wish this episode was kind of around where the legend arc was, because that could have been an interesting nugget of information. Tell you the truth, like, the research laboratory could have been like a very bigger integral part to the story. I get it, there is a very specific point in the episode that we need to promote the summer movie, but like, come on, like, why you need to do this? Like, here, why you need to fucking put a bunch of like anniversary shit in a season that's like not anniversary, like, at all? Like, you can say, like, from what I understand, it's like, what, like the 30th anniversary or something, or like 25th anniversary of like Ryder being on TV consistently, but like still, like, every season is now an anniversary. Like, at least Revise had a reason for an anniversary kind of like gimmick. How much the gimmick was like, wow, like very like superficial. It was way more about like small little hints in designs and some sound effects and maybe some like poses, but it was very much not like anniversary in actual content. It's funny that Revise was the 50th anniversary of Ryder, and like Legend and fucking Gotchard did more than fucking Revise. Like, Revise had some like extra content, but it wasn't anything out of the fucking norm. So yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I truly believe this would have fitted way better in the middle of the show, because here's the thing, I kind of now want the brother and the director to be recurring characters, because I really feel that the brother is such an interesting human being that just gaslit himself so bad of like, I'm the bad guy, but I would take the brunt. I would bury myself in the job of like helping to evolve that Kemi to be a real Kemi. I would continue to evolve Isaac to actually have a full complete conversation with other Kemis. Like, I want to create a world where Kemis and humans live together, which is great. Like, for a character, he works so well, specifically because this is what Hotoro wants too. So now, like, we are pretty much couple of, like, we are what, 2 months away from the ending of Gotchard, and now it's like, man, like, you could have done so much with what you are doing right now, but you decided not to do it. I'm sorry, you. I'm not saying Hasagawa didn't want to do it. If Hasagawa had the leeway of doing what he wanted, we wouldn't be here. Just saying, I don't believe blaming it all on the head writers. How much I do love just shitting on Uchida. I believe this is literally 2 best written episodes. I truly believe, like, the problem here is Toei, which is fucking odd, because they let Yuya Takahashi do whatever the fuck he wants, but they would not let a guy like Hasagawa write what the fuck he wants. That's the same guy that literally Subaragi came to him with $7 in a dream. He's like, hey, we want to do another Ultraman show. Can you help us? And Hasagawa said, do you have any money for an attack team? He's like, no. Okay, I will try to make it work. And he made it work. Again, like, everybody's hyped about Arc. Let's not forget, Hasagawa is literally an integral part of us having Ultraman Arc right now. Let's not forget that, but okay. But I did like that literally, like, this entire part of Sabio's brother really gaslighting himself, came to the point of, hey, Garyon coming in and just kind of making him the actual like evolved and complete form of the Kamadon Kemi, which was like really cool looking. And I love the moment before Garyon came in and made him the Kamadon Kemi. Like Sabimaru, like genuinely, it seems like he came out of this shell for like a bit. He like, I don't know how much of it was the hallucination that his brother saw and how much of it was like Sabimaru was saying it. I believe like Sabio, like when he was still like nice, when he raised his tone, like he was still there. It was still like what Sabio was saying. There was a point where it switched, but it's like it came to a point, it's like, hey, I just want my older brother back. Like, I truly believe you're still a good person, but I don't believe that this is what you need to do. You don't need to bury yourself in work. You don't need to protect me anymore. I can fight for myself. And I just absolutely loved that, like, we got the kind of really cool like transition shots between Sabio's brother in the Kamadon Amalgam suit and just him in his regular outfit, just finding Gotchard and talking how much he really cared about his brother and how much he's sorry for what he's done, and what he really wanted is just to protect him, but he doesn't see it like that anymore. Like, that was great. Like, everything about like this entire story is about just believing in yourself and trying to understand the other person. It's very much a part of the main theming of the show of empathy. Like Sabio and his brother need to empathize with each other, and they needed to work together, and not, hey, let's just run away and just never talk to each other ever again. Like, that was like genuinely great. Like, I literally found it amazing. Like, both the suit actor and the actor that played Sabio's brother were like so great. Like, and I truly wish that like Sabio's brother and the director would have been actual like recurring characters. So if we already talked about Garyon, let's talk about why Garyon came to the laboratory. Well, first of all, to have a really cool fight, Germain's golem appear, which kind of tells us, hey, I just inherited his powers. It would have been cooler, thinking about it now, but it would have been just in one point to see is like, oh, to have the big revelation that Germain never ate like Garyon, and Garyon kind of like slowly took over his body, and because of that he can do alchemy. But no, he inherited his powers, which is kind of dumb, because like you can already make dolls, so it's like, why does it matter? So yeah, like we got a really cool battle between the golem and Valvarad and Gotchard, but also he actually had a reason why he wanted to come, and that is not actually for the Kemi. It was for Isaac. Because we need to promote the movie, and we have a form in the Dread Driver that we haven't used still. Isaac can turn into now a Dread Driver. He can have Dread Troopers. What the fuck is the fucking writer and fucking integrating fucking troopers way too late into the show? They did it. They did it with Saber. They did it with Gitz. They did it with Revice. This is not like a final show act. It's supposed to be something in the middle. Once more, what is Kamen doing with fucking troopers? Like, I'm sorry. Like, here's the thing. Like, the fight between Sabimaru and the first ever Dread Trooper was great, because it actually remembered that the first person that ever transformed into Dread was Sabimaru, and like Sabimaru like had a small panic attack, but he still like genuinely held his own against a Kamen Rider untransformed and beat him with not only the X/caliber that saved him from pretty much dying in the fucking Kamen Rider Dread suit, but also using the Kemi he and his brother created, which was fucking nice. Like, everything about this was awesome. Again, it seems like the show is like looking at itself and it's way more Toei looking at Hasagawa, and Hasagawa's like looking at them. It's like, you could have just let me do my shit. And it's like, oh, all right, yeah, go ahead. We're sorry. We're sorry. And it's like, you damn right you are. So yeah, like that fight was cool, and the ending of the brothers hugging, like that was nice because it like gave us a conclusion. A conclusion that I don't see the brother ever coming back to the show, which is sad. Here's the thing. The creation of the Dread Troopers kind of didn't make sense. The entire thing about the Dread Driver, it was literally, when it was presented, is like, oh, this is a thing that's going to literally surpass and going to achieve the highest level of form of chemistry. Again, chemistry is a bunch of things kind of combining together, like that's chemistry. So like creating a fucking army of it, cool. It's way too fucking late though. Like, at least in my opinion, this is way too late to fucking introduce troopers into your show. Like, you could have just, again, did it in the Legend arc, but not just make it revolve around Legend. I'm sorry, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop about ranting about the Legend arc. And now for like slightly lesser stuff, like right now, like I don't really have a lot to say about specific stuff. There is one slightly more than the other. So pretty much the director decided to pretty much cut ties from the association, was actually even like before Garyon pretty much revealed his true face. Yeah, she kind of like noticed that he's probably like a super shady person, and she decided to leave and decided to cut away from the association. It still seems like they were lovers at least, or like really close. He kind of like, when he was in the forest looking for pretty much the entrance, he went to a tree and saw like a tree that is wrapped with like wire, and like he grabbed the wire and he said out loud, "Mommy." Did he get pegged by the director? I'm just saying, it's kind of weird, but yeah, but also, and they actually got to interact in the end of the episode. We don't really get to hear what he said to her because he did whisper it into her ear, so we're not sure what he said to her, but maybe, just maybe the director would be somehow more involved in the show. At least I hope so. And hey, we actually like got a small arc with the little girl that was like, hey, Spanner, go fuck yourself. You're not an A-class alchemist. When Garyon burned the research facility down, Valvarat saved her. And after he saved her, he's like, okay, mister, from now on, you're Mr. A-class alchemist. Hey, that's an arc. That was nice. While also, the freezing gimmick just kind of continues with the episode because Minato is also an idiot. I don't know, I kind of find that funny. Like, overall, this episode was great. This episode also shouldn't be in the end of the show. I get it. The Dread Driver, like, things, the multiple Dread Drivers is very much integral to the summer movie. But for fuck's sake, I'm not going to watch the movie until, let's say, next year. So, like, I shouldn't care yet. So why should the people that also are not from Japan? Can you tell me? But it just shouldn't have been in the 40s. It should have been in the early 30s, maybe even like mid 20s. Like, after maybe they beaten Garyon for the first time, and the three like Abilicist Kings kind of come in like together, all three of them, and we kind of build them alongside like a Garyon that is wounded, and we slowly kind of like elevate Garyon to a point that he can maybe take control of a body of a king, and then do this again. But we still need to like build it up, which this had the lack of a build up like, I kind of believe that this episode would have gotten a fucking S+. If it was in the right place and in the right time. It's not in the right place and not in the right time. This episode gets an A+. It's still good, but it's just the circumstance of where the episode is actually being landed on. It's the 40s, not the 30s. Just if you moved it around, it would have been better. So yeah, what you thought about Gotchard episode 43? Comment below, let me know. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you liked it. If you did and you didn't press the like button, please do. Fucking press it as much as you want, but at least like press it a equal like an equal amount of times. You can do it 3 times. 3 times is fine. And also like make the subscribe button a subscribed button, please. This is what the subscribe button wants. Yeah, have a great rest of your day, and also don't forget, you're the only one that can prevent forest fires. Bye bye.